What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be running through some boxing techniques and a quick boxing tutorial. So about 2 weeks ago, I uploaded an Instagram story, Kjtilse, give me a follow if you don't already. I uploaded an Instagram story to my channel all about boxing, a workout that I did, and you guys requested that I do a boxing tutorial for you. So here it is. Today, let's get into it, guys. So I like to start this workout with a warm-up. It is a very full body engaged movement. We're using a lot of core muscles, we're using our hips, we're using our shoulders, our arms at the same time. So I like to warm everything up nicely before we get started. So just a few quick things to start with. We're gonna do some running, followed by some skipping, some push-ups, some variations of push-ups, and then we're gonna do some different core exercises, twists, and body movements. So let's get into those first couple of exercises to start with, all right? So first of all, we're just gonna go for a quick run around the block, just to get the heart rate up and the blood pumping around the body. When I turn up, you know I'm on my, yes, I'm on my, yes, I'm on my, I'm so, yes, I am so, I'm on my. All right, so we've just finished our run. Now we're gonna get into our set of skipping. And we're just going to start 30-second intervals for 5 minutes. We're just gonna start regular skipping and we're gonna transition into high knees. Just nice and light to start with, bouncing off our toes, just warming up again, getting the heart rate up. After 30 seconds, we transition into high knees. I'm just gonna skip at our high knees, pick the pace up a bit. This is a bit more of a sprint set here. And then back into regular again. Then we're gonna transition again into a side to side skip, just going side to side, just mixing it up a little bit, making a little bit more dynamic movement. Getting our legs ready for those different angles as we box. And then last 30 seconds to a minute, high knees, power through as quick as you can. Burn them out. And then if you can and you're feeling up to it, finish off with some double unders. So just making that rope burn through. Bit of a higher jump. Takes a little bit more effort, really wears you out, as you can see. So we'll just go upstairs now into the rest of the warm up. All right, so as you can see, heart rate's up now. Let's have a quick little bit of water. So the heart rate's up now. Now we'll just get into some more of the like push-ups and body movement things that we want to work on now. So, okay, start with, we're gonna do a few different variations of push-up. So start with, we're gonna be on our knuckles. And we wanna aim to focus to be on the front 2 knuckles when we're holding on the ground like that. So our wrists are forward. We wanna be nice and tight in our wrists. Elbows in tight as well. We're just gonna go through that push-up using our tricep and our chest to push through, keeping strong on the knuckles. This is to build up the strength in our forearms, our wrist joint, and the front 2 knuckles, because when we throw our punches, we're wanting to strike with those first 2 right there, nice and straight. So we like to do about 20 and we'll mix up the variation. So just gonna punch through these, keeping it nice and strong on those knuckles. It will hurt the knuckles at first. So as soon as you start to feel a bit of fatigue in there, and it is hurting, is when you can switch it up, go to your regular hands, okay? You don't wanna cook them too early in the session, all right? So that's our first variation of push-up for our warm-up. Our second, we're gonna do a Hindu push-up. So from side on, hands shoulder width apart again, feet up nice and high. This is gonna activate our shoulder muscles, and we're just gonna go from a nice angled up position here, and we're gonna bend down on our shoulders, come up into like a downward dog, and then I like to push back through like that. And we just burn this out for a few different sets. And you'll definitely start to feel this one in your shoulders and in your chest. Those 2 together, have rest in between, and then on to the next exercises. All right, so as you can see, I'm starting to get quite warm now. So this next drill is actually part of, I guess, your boxing stance. So my background is Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. I've got 10 years experience in that. Black belt in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, level 2 accreditation, so which means I can teach boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu here in Australia up to an elite level, and also got my personal training certificate. So just a little bit of a background of where I come from in martial arts space. I'm not a traditional boxer, so my stance will be a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a kickboxer stance, but it works for me and that's the way I like it. I know boxers will be a little bit different, but for this workout, you'll still learn correct technique, okay? So for this drill, we're gonna find out our stance first of all. I like to be shoulder width apart. So we start in a shoulder width apart position, okay? And as you can see, I've got the middle line here in between my legs, and I've got my feet in the middle of this next line. So I've got this cross here and I'm gonna use this to my advantage, okay? I'm gonna step 1 foot forward, shoulder width apart, 1 foot back, okay? And I'm up on my toes in this position here. So now if I drop my knee down to the floor, you'll see my knee will be in line with the back of my heel. And that's probably your prime position for this type of stance. Gives you a lot of stability backwards and forwards. Shoulder width apart, you've got a nice amount of stability from side angles as well, okay? And this is the position we're in here. We're nice and light in our feet. This right now is probably one of the most important tools in boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, is stance, okay? So I like to incorporate this into my workout. Gonna bring my hands up nice and tight to my face, up in tight to my chin, and I'm gonna do 2 shuffles forward. So with my shuffles, I lift my front foot up and I push my weight off my back leg. So my shuffle will go front foot up, push off my back leg, and I'm still in that same stance. To move backwards, I'm gonna lift my back leg up, push off my front toe, and step backwards. And I should be back into that same position that I was in before, okay? And we're just gonna move from this position here. So I'm gonna do a shuffle forward, shuffle backward. Keeping my stance, look down at the end to make sure I'm back in position again. I'm gonna do this a few times. If you keep your legs nice and low in this position here, you will feel a burn. It's kind of like doing a bit of a lunge in a way, all right? And we're using that, wanna keep on our toes and speed it up, backwards and forwards. Just gonna do 2 like that. Just keep it to those 2. Forward, back, hands up in front of your face, fist tucked in. And as you do this, you'll find that it does start to burn after a while. All right, just trying to keep in line each time, checking, making sure I'm coming back to that midpoint, okay? All right, so that's variation number 1. Variation number 2 is I'm gonna move across to the side. We're just gonna go forwards and backs and side to side today. We won't do any turns yet, just keep it nice and simple. So, to go sideways, let's say we're gonna go to my left, lift my left foot up, I'm gonna push off my back leg across to the side, keep my stance the same. I'm gonna go back the opposite way, same again. Lift my right foot up, step across to the side, back into that nice fighting stance there, knee in line with the heel, standing back up, and I'm right in that middle line again, okay? So we're just gonna go back and forward in this position now. So off to the side and back again. Just keeping those hands up nice and high. I know it looks silly and it doesn't feel like boxing, and I hate doing it as well, but it's so important into movement and getting good at punching, okay? As soon as you start to get good at these, you can incorporate your punches. So as you go forward, you're gonna jab off that front hand and then move back, ready for a cross, okay? And that's how you can build them up and they become a bit more enjoyable. But just for now, work on that forwards, backwards movement. That gets you in a good stance, good solid base, which will set you up for really fast, sharp striking. All right, I think we're ready to punch now. So, start with, make sure you always wear protection, guys. Nice, strong, solid glove. Today we're gonna be doing the combos. We're gonna be doing the combos on a heavy bag. It is quite heavy. I would suggest starting lighter. Use the smaller bags until you build up your technique, speed, and power. Got a nice solid glove today, 16 ounce. I'm gonna be putting wraps on, so I'm gonna be well protected. Just make sure you don't do any damage to your hands and knuckles, because that's the worst thing you could possibly do in boxing. Box without gloves, you will pay for it, and then you won't be able to keep training. So protect yourself out there. Let's get into our first set of drills. So we're just at my local gym, Rhino Health and Fitness. This is the boxing bag that they've got here. So just gonna show you a few combos that you can do on a boxing bag by yourself. We're gonna just start with the technique of each punch. So start with the first 2 punches that you need to learn straight off the back is your jab and your cross, okay? They're the 2 most basic. So from our fighting stance before, we think of our punches like a pistol. So you have your bolt, and the first movement comes from the hip. So if you look down here at my hips, you'll see that first movement, I'm on my toes, it comes from the hip. That is our power, okay? So if you think of a gun, when you press that trigger, you've got the bolt in the back of the barrel, that hits the bullet, fist and arm being the bullet. So the bolt is the part that creates all that power and drive. The fist and the rest of your arm is literally just the bullet straight out of the barrel. So power is coming from the hips. Don't do boxing like this. I see people do it in the gym all the time and they're just like, it may look impressive, the bag's moving, but you are not punching effectively. A powerful strike comes from speed, power within the body, and the last part is speed and good technique. All right, so with our cross, we're gonna concentrate on those techniques, moving those hips. And as I do that move of the hip, that's what projects that punch out. We bring it out nice and straight in line with our chin. So if I aim to the camera, I do that strike from the hip, arm moves out forward, nice and straight. You can see here, I've got my left hand tucked in nice and tight to my chin. If I lift my hand down, you're gonna get hit in the face, and you're gonna get striked, okay? So we need to keep it in, everything in nice and tight. Recoil is key, it comes back to the chin. So that's our cross there. Boom, nice and straight. That's just nice and slow, showing you technique. As you can see, I'm moving my fist forward and hitting with those front 2 knuckles like we did in those push-ups earlier. With the jab now. So with the jab, exactly the same, except you got your front foot forward. So you're not gonna get as much power out of a jab. It's more of a setup strike, and it's fast recoil. It's to catch your opponent off guard. I like to use it as a defensive technique if I'm on the back foot and I'm moving backwards, I'm gonna keep jabbing out that jab to just put them off so that they can't hit me, you know, with a main strike like a cross, a hook, uppercut, anything that's like more of a damaging strike. It's fast and sharp, comes straight from the chin. So in our fighting stance again, just jab, nice and straight, and we just keep our hands in nice and tight. As you can see, recoil is key, okay? So just to start with, we're gonna do 10 jabs and then 10 crosses. All right, so we're just gonna talk about the distance of our punch as well. You wanna be at a good striking range where your punch is just gonna hit them, okay? If you're in too tight, you're not gonna get that full extent, you're not gonna get as much power as possible. So you need to be back a little bit, just so that you're in that striking range. Usually, your fist should be hitting their face, or body part, or the bag, or whatever it be, all right? So we get that full amount of striking, okay? So this next movement are our hooks, and then we'll combo it all together at the end, okay? We'll just work on these 4 strikes today, and maybe in the next video we can add some more things in. And if you guys really enjoy this, we can turn into kickboxing, and we can do all sorts of stuff just with a heavy bag, a full workout. Yeah, it's good. So if you guys enjoy this, make sure you do leave a comment below and let us know, and we'll continue these videos coming for you, okay? So now we're gonna turn into a combo. We're gonna use those footwork drills that we did earlier, plus a jab cross combo, okay? So we're gonna go from side to side after each time we strike, okay? So it'll look a bit like this. 1, 2, move. 1, 2, and then move. So concentrating on your movement, all right? As you get better, you can move around and move back and move your head, as you'll see me do it in this set of 10. First of all, just work on 1, 2, step across. 1, 2, step across. From the hips. 1, 2, step across. 1, 2, step across. Keeping those hands in tight to your body, elbows tucked in tight, hands up in front of the chin. Always protect the money maker. All right, so I'll just get into that set of 10 now. Just do 10 of those, and then we'll move on to the next one. Feel free to double jab. If you want to mix the combo up as well, starting to get cocky, make sure that jab comes back to that chin, okay? So you double jab, up, up, up. 1, 2, 3. 3 strike combo now. That's if you want to get a little bit more advanced. Okay, I'm worn out. We'll move on to the next punches now. So we're gonna go into our hook. So when we do our hook, this is one that comes around from the side of the body, okay? So you're aiming for the head with a hook, aiming for around the chin height. So our shoulder, our elbow, our wrist, our fist is all in line, okay? And this all comes from the hips once again. Okay, so from here, you can cock back to start with. It's predictable then, so don't try to get in a bad habit. I've got a tendency of doing that, and even with years and years of experience, it's just a bad problem that I've gotten into. So from our face, from our fighting stance, we're in a little bit tighter because this one's gonna come around the body. And as you can see there, I'm gonna strike in. So hands in tight again, hook. As we do that hook, the first part of the movement, if you look at my feet here, I'm on my toes. The first part of the movement, I'm twisting my toe in towards my target and twisting my hip. If you can see my hip as well, that's the movement that I'm doing. That's creating the energy for that left hook there to be really powerful and damaging. Once again, the hand is just the last part of that punch, all right? So we're gonna go from our chin, and we're just gonna do our left hand hook to start with. We're just gonna turn, hook. Back to our chin, reset, resettle, recenter, and once again, breathing through our punches. Make sure you breathe through these. Recoil. Recoil is key. Keep nice and loose in the shoulders, just hands in nice and tight. A little bit more of a harder technique than our straight front on punches. Okay, so if you can see from side on here, that's the power, is driving through the face, yeah? And then it comes back to the chin nice and sharp with our left hand. Try not to jump, more power driving through that. If you have a tendency to step, that's not gonna be as powerful. Feet planted on the ground, lots of energy in that punch, yeah? So once again, do 10 of those. Now let's get onto our right hand. Same again, we're just gonna have more twist in our hip because we need to get that around a bit more than the front hand, okay? So once again, we're gonna do 10 punches. Elbow, wrist, shoulder in line, hitting nice and firmly, front 2 knuckles again. Power from the hips. Getting a lot of movement in the bag. Feel free to center it again because it will hurt when you punch it. And it's swinging back on you. As you can see, this is a very strong punch. A lot of hip energy in it. Okay, 10 of those, then we'll move it into the next combination. So now we're gonna get into the full combination now. We're gonna do a jab, a cross, left hook, right cross. It's quite a basic combination. This is like what I would teach a beginner straight off the bat. It's a nice aggressive one that you can put lots of energy into, but at the same time you're using those simple techniques that we've just run through, okay? So just go through this as many times as you like. I'm just gonna do it 10 times for this video. And then at the end of it, with the 4 strikes that we've learnt today and our foot movement, we're just gonna do some free sparring with the bag, which just helps to develop it into your mind a bit better. You think about things. You may feel a little bit intimidated to do it at first, but as you build up a bit of experience and continue to do these combinations, it just does start to flow a bit more naturally for you. Okay, so let's just go through those 10 on the combination. So we've got our jab, cross, hook, cross. And you will see the bag will move around a bit, so feel free to settle it again. Nice and close to the chin, don't cross those legs over like I just did there. Keeping moving around. All from the hips, you can see my hips moving. Keeping distance too. Okay, so we finish our 10. Now we're just gonna go into free sparring mode. I'm just gonna throw in all my different combinations that I know just in boxing. Lots of movement, you'll see me moving around. And this is just how I do it, nice and light. Getting aggressive sometimes, move back, do some nice light punches, then come in hard, body rips, all sorts of movement. So this is just a little bit of what we're gonna work up towards. I hope you learned something today, guys. I really enjoyed teaching this to you. Like I said earlier, if you want to see more of these videos, comment below, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. It supports my channel and motivates me to make more of these type of videos for you. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.
When I turn up, you know I'm on my, yes, I'm on my, yes, I'm on my, I'm so, yes, I am so, I'm on my, I'm on my.